Letter dated December 5th, 2011, from the Director of Public Works requesting authorization for the renewal of the 5th year of the 5-year contract with Regional Industries LLC, Elizabeth, for a 1-year period commencing January 1, 2012 to December 31st, 2012 at a cost of $3,950,000.
Comments?
I'm going to bring this up now that Tony's here. Tony, one of the things that I brought up at our budget meeting is that even though the budget doesn't call for an increase, we could still do better. And one of the things that I just realized, probably knew about it but didn't realize it as much, we pick up the Board of Education's building garbage also. They're one of the biggest violators of the recycling. There is just empty cans.
Yeah, we had, Councilman Jacobson brought that up at one of our meetings. And then Councilwoman...
But I think that one of the reasons why I bring that up is because there's not enough effort made by Pat Bella and his crew in enforcing recycling, especially these big buildings. And I think there, if we need to hire more guys to do it, it's been proven that we've hired guys to do sanitary inspection and they've paid for themselves 3 times over. But the reality is, we got to cut down our garbage tipping fees, and the only way you're going to do it is by reducing the amount of garbage that's going into the facilities.
As we mentioned in a couple of meetings ago, we're scheduled to have a meeting jointly with the Board of Ed to fulfill our best practices or requirement. That'll probably be held in either January or February, March, possibly. And that'll be one of our primary topics to bring that up.
The housing authority, the same thing?
I think what Councilman Grova and Councilwoman and Councilman Jackson are saying is, let's not wait for them.
Yeah.
Let's be proactive and do something on our own.
Yeah, internally we're being
I thought our
proactive. and
recycling
everything.
coordinator was supposed to come here, I guess this is about 4 months ago, to let us, our recycling coordinator, when I brought this up maybe about 4 to 6 months ago, he was supposed to have been reaching out to the Board of Ed, letting us know what he was doing regarding this issue. I mean, this is like a dead issue.
Well, we're going to resurrect it.
Okay.
Well, Councilwoman, you want
I
to
believe in the
invite Pat
resurrection.
Bella to come to attend one of our meetings, please?
Yeah, I'll mention it to the director.
And not only that, I've been talking about some of these large apartment buildings who just put their garbage out. Just, I guess everything I say just gets vaporized and really doesn't get worked on. Because I've been constantly talking about the large apartment buildings who set their garbage out in those black bags and we don't know what's in them and nothing is being recycled. Or if you ride all up and down North Avenue, you see them. That's a lot of money in the trash.
Councilman Jeff?
Yeah, Mr. President, I don't know if Pat Bella is the person that we should be talking about here right now. I do believe that the man does a good job in what he does, and I don't think we here at City Council should be pointing a finger at any city employee and mentioning their names. I will say this to you though, about 18 years ago, I went to a League of Municipality convention class, and one of the towns out in the western part of our state, and I brought this up a number of times, they incorporated the group of men and women who clean our streets. I guess they're I forgot it then, and I forgot the term of the group now. They're county prisoners. They go out, the SLAP prisoners. They go out and they clean our streets. They know exactly where the streets are dirty. They know exactly where there's recycling problems. They know exactly where the problems occur. And it was a county out in the western part of the state that hired or paid these SLAP workers, gave them ticket books, and actually had them walk down the streets as they were sweeping and issue summonses. to those people who are violating the law. Now, I had Rocco DiPaolo research this about 18 years ago, and he sent back a legal opinion stating that it was legal to do here. Just so happens, unfortunately, we have unions, and we need to be very careful on how we handle that kind of situation. But not only was it for that, but it was also to clean the embankments of our railroad areas, where the high weeds go and the garbage piles up and it's unsightly
Right.
as you're coming in to North Avenue
Right.
and as you're coming in West Jersey Street, all of these areas,
Right.
we could use those workers there too. But unfortunately, we don't choose to do that. So maybe the Director of Public Works can look at that
Okay.
and institute a program where you can use SLAP workers to issue fines to the big apartment buildings where we're having these problems, and we go from there.
Tony, could you talk
Yes,
to John about
yes,
that?
I will.
Thank you.
And I don't see why, and I've brought this up many, many times, I don't see why we allow the Elizabeth Board of Education to continue to not recycle. They use this kind of paper all day long in the classroom.
Right.
They have milk cartons.
Right.
None of it's being recycled. It's all being tossed into a black garbage bag, which is inside a gray garbage container, and nothing is done. Nothing is recycled.
If you could mention to John also,
Oh, yeah.
concern of council that at least on a spot basis, an inspector could be looking at some of those trash bags. Councilman Mazza?
Yeah, not to be in defense of the Board of Education, Eddie, you well know that I am the advisor of Key Club, and I could tell you that every Friday, the recycle people, they come and they pick up 1, 2, 3, 4 huge bins of paper, recyclable, and cardboard at Elizabeth High School, okay? And we've been doing that for so many years.
Frank, I worked there for 33 years.
I know, Eddie,
Let me tell you something right now.
go ahead.
The cardboard goes in those big bins. This paper does not go in these bins. These papers go in small garbage bags in a green garbage can, which gets picked up by a custodian. It goes into a bigger garbage bag that's in a gray garbage can, and it gets dumped into the regular garbage.
Well, just to finish, the last time we mentioned about to get in touch with the Board of Education, Tony, I think you were assigned to meet with Richard Kennedy many months ago, when Perkin mentioned and even when Mr. Jack has mentioned, and because this will bring points to the city of Elizabeth, if we keep delaying this meeting with Mr. Kennedy, eventually the recycling, which I strongly agree with the first ward councilman that we could do more. I have pitched and I have happened to take landlords before the Board of Health Department, Mr. Michael Machakowski, and etc. from the Health Department, which I forced them to come up with 20 garbage cans with covers on the top. After 1 week, 20 garbage cans went down to 5 because people were stealing it. And yesterday, I got complaints and I got pictures, and I called the landlord wherever he was living. Listen, I don't want no rats, no dogs, no birds. There were about 300 birds on the top of the garbage can because some tenants from the third floor happened to throw the garbage can into the backyard. The neighbors next to it, they came to me, and I just showed you some pictures, right, Councilman?
Right.
I mean, there's a lot of things that we must do. It's easy to say, well, we could generate money, but we must educate even the tenants. Each landlord must be responsible, proper supervisor in their building, because if they are absent landlord, that's where you have to hit those people big time. And when they got to come up for capital improvement or improvement in a building, they should be denied because they're not a good landlord. So it works in both ways. I agree with you guys, we could raise more money because, you know, it's a lot of money we pay for our garbage, but we could say more. We have to educate the people, and you have to start calling this meeting with Mr. Kennedy whenever you're going to speak to him.
Yeah, I tried to schedule a meeting for December. I set a date, mid-December. No response from the Board of Ed yet. We have to get something in the next couple of months to fulfill the best practices for both the Board of Ed and
Right,
the
that's
city. So,
important.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Questa?
Yeah, very briefly, just to say that I agree completely with Councilman Jacobs.
He mentioned 33 years, well, in my case, 34 years. But, you know,
And how many years as a student before that?
oh, yeah.
You remember the Green Garbage Cans? Remember shooting
I
baskets?
sure do. I sure do.
I
But
remember when you were
Mr.
young, without the beard, I
Yes,
remember.
Mrs. Zangaro said that no response from Mr. Kennedy, and I'm not surprised. Now, it happened recently again, Mr. President, where the board had a meeting,
Right.
and they did not inform us 48 hours in advance.
Right.
When is that gonna stop?
Right.
I think, Yolanda, what I'd like to do is, every time that happens, we're gonna forward another letter. I would imagine that we did send the letter I recommended a while ago, right? Did we
Well,
do
I
that?
received, from the law department, I did receive information regarding it.
Regarding that matter?
Beg pardon?
Regarding the issue.
Yeah.
But they
being
still don't notify us in a timely
notified within
fashion.
48 hours.
Right, but it still let us know at the last
Well,
minute.
the last meeting, no, I was notified the same day as the
This
meeting.
is what I mean.
Which is not.
And Mr. Kennedy is not even responding to Tony's request for a meeting, so what are we talking about here? You know, it's,
Are there any consequences for them violating the provisions of the open public meeting?
There may be, but very.
Those meetings were posted on the website and the Star Ledger
but
some
they're
time ago, for the
required,
entire
you know,
year.
Required by law to, that the city
Right.
clerk.
I think the city clerk.
A special meeting.
Letter to the board
Special meeting.
asking, I think, until
Yeah, yeah, I will. Because George sent me the information.
I know that.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so now that the city clerk's got the information, that letter will go out. Councilwoman?
Just one thing, Mr. President, I'm hearing from Mrs. Rivera that the board secretary is not responding to his request to have a meeting so that we can fulfill our best
Right.
practices for, working together. Can we do a resolution, so that at least we have it on record that we have been trying to
Right.
reach out and they have been in non-compliant
Right.
and, non-cooperative?
Tony,
regarding
would that help us with the state?
yeah, oh,
So this,
Yeah.
at least it'll be duly noted, you know, that, we are trying to
Right.
do this in this regarding recycling or whatever issue we wanna put in there, to save money for the taxpayers of the city of Elizabeth and the state of New Jersey.
Yeah, I'd just like to note, though, that I have an excellent working relationship with Bud Kennedy, the BA of the Board of Ed. It might not be his decision. I think they have to go to the commissioners to get the okay to set up
So
this
then who
meeting.
would we send a letter, who do we address it to, the commissioners?
I'll send it to the BA and just advise that, you know, we have to set up this
Tony,
meeting.
the question is, so that the city does not become
Yes.
penalized
Right, that's
for
right.
non-cooperation with the Board of Ed, what can we do?
We need to send some type of written
To-
communication?
Yeah, have a trail of emails.
No,
So
that's not
fine.
proper. We need to send something from council, because we're the ones who've been requesting this since, it's been 4 or 5 months now.
I would
It's not,
suggest-
it's not longer.
Since it's coming from council, it should go to the president of the board.
Yeah, we should.
From council to the board.
Yeah.
To the governing body, okay. Thank you. Yeah, we have to
So
do something. We just
this will be
can't,
a letter or a resolution?
I think it should be by resolution.
Guys? Letter or resolution?
It can be, a letter can go from the city clerk on behalf of council, or
I think by
council
resolution.
wants to,
That-
they can adopt a resolution.
Yeah, that's how they do things, to the other governing body, because they can't just not ignore that we're trying to save money for these taxpayers in this entire city. This is unbelievable.
You want to put a resolution on?
A resolution or a letter?
By resolution.
Consensus?
I agree on the resolution.
Resolution?
Yes.
Okay, now, can we put it on now, or do we?
No, it's not.
You
No,
can't have
right.
it ready for next week?
Oh, it'll be ready for
Yeah.
next week.
Yeah, we can't vote on it
That's
tonight.
it, no,
No, I put it on, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to put on the agenda for next week, a resolution to the Board of Education.
Thank you,
Uh,
Mr. President.
No, thank you. Other comments?